Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Karl Dudesh, and what's this? I'm running a game?
I've been usurped.
I have usurped Dan. I will now be doing all EOE going forward. I won't, but welcome to the 80s. A wonderful time of really crackly television, but really awesome music. We are going to be playing Tales from the Loop in the first of the EOE one-shots. If you don't know what Tales the Loop is, it's an amazing sort of system by the Free League, based on the artwork of Simon Stalasgaard. Hopefully I pronounced that right. It has been made a TV series on Amazon, which is kind of cool, but here we will not be doing any of the preset stuff. No, we will be joining our own world. And I'm joined by these wonderful people. We have Julia.
Hi.
We have Lane.
That's me.
We have Dan, who is a player for once.
Hello!
We have Nate.
Hello!
And newcomer to the playing scene, we have Errol. Welcome to the 80s, guys. Are you all 80s kids? Are you all born in the 80s? Or some of you, one or two in the 90s?
No, I am.
80s?
Lane's the tourist. Lane's the tourist.
Lane's the tourist. You've never had the experience of the 80s. Well, hopefully today we will take you on a whirlwind tour of all things 80s. For the uninitiated at home, this system is ridiculously easy to play. It is done entirely by D6. The characters, who will be playing children, aged 10 to 15, will have scores set on the character sheets and will roll dice based on those scores. Success is only by sixes. If you get a single 6, that is a success. And the more sixes you get, the more successes you have. Being kids, thankfully, means our players cannot die. However, they can end up with serious conditions, being scared, upset, and the likes. Their point today is to solve a mystery in the sleepy town of Lunaville in Michigan. Are you guys ready to dive into this town that something strange is about to happen in?
Ooh, yes, please.
Oh, now you said something strange. I don't know if I'm ready. I was expecting something normal.
Are the things going to be strange?
Or are they going to be
due to copyright, they're going to be strange things. But yes, odds what's it. Things will be bizarre in this town, and it will not be based on other properties at all. For the sake of audio, I do apologise. I am going things a little bit analog today, so there may be the sound of shuffling. And one final thing is this mystery. There may be some things that may not be answered. They are called sequel bait. If you want to know more about those, like, comment, and subscribe. And let Dan know that you'll want more from Tales of the Loop. Let us begin. Welcome to Lunaville, Michigan. The date is October 7th, 1983. Ronald Reagan is president, and the Cold War is ongoing, causing much Russian and communist xenophobia. In music, Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart is currently number 1 in the charts, while the album Ziggy Stardust the Motion Picture has just been released. Michael Jackson's Thriller album is well on its way to becoming the best-selling album of all time. Cinema, however, has not been great, as more films have been getting an R rating, which means there's been very little for you to watch. However, a very odd James Bond film called Never Say Never Again has just released today. However, earlier in May, Return of the Jedi came out and became the highest grossing film of all time. Most of your money will, however, be spent in the arcade, blown on the Star Wars arcade game, which came out at the same time of the film, with its amazing vector graphics, cockpit seat, and voiceovers from the actual cast members. Dragon's Lair is also out, as is Mario Brothers, the first of the game to introduce Luigi. TV, however, has not been as exciting. In cartoons, however, there has been a few that have caused a bit of a buzz. Inspector Gadget, Alvin and the Chipmunks, and He-Man has aired for the first time. There is even a cartoon about D&D. In home entertainment, Tron releases today on VHS. In sports, the Baltimore World Series is currently ongoing. The finals will be played in a matter of days, with the Baltimore Orioles looking for a strong win. In a very strange sort of turn of events, the first of the Cabbage Patch Kid riots have happened. It's a real thing. Look it up. And finally, McDonald's has released a new product called the McNugget. Thankfully, Lunaville does not have a McDonald's. And finally, in local news, the 3 cooling towers have been more active than usual, chucking up large amounts of steam into the sky. Ever so often you can see little flecks of blue light leaving them, raising up, and a storm is starting to brew. Welcome to Lunaville. You have lived here your entire lives. You know everything there is to know about this town, or at least everything as kids you need to know. There are sweet shops, toy shops. It's a very sort of sleepy, old sort of American town. A main high street with sort of colonial style sort of architecture. It's a bit of a religious town. The colonial church is a big fixture. So, Christianity is quite big here as well. But it's a very sort of, at best, sleepy is the right word for it. Not a lot of exciting things happen in Lunaville, which is what made it a perfect place for the company DART, the Department for Advanced Research into Teleportation, to set up their particle accelerator underground. So your entire life you've lived in the shadow of these 3 massive cooling towers that just sort of dominate the landscape of your sleepy little town. You as kids, you've known each other for however long you've known each other. You're all part, I believe you said you're all part of an AV club set up at the local Blockbuster. You got together with other people, you've become friends, and over time you've set yourself up a little hideout, which is where we will start. The hideout, I believe, was in the farm of your character, Errol, correct?
Yes, in Cobble Farm, in a hayloft.
Yes, Cobble Farm. What sort of things do they grow in Cobble Farm? What things are they trying to grow in Cobble Farm, I should say?
I do believe that we established that Cobble Farm was mostly a dairy farm. Yes. Many dairy producing animals, cows, one might say.
So this nice sort of background like sound of mooing and of munching of things. But you're all in your hayloft. The evening is sort of coming along. You finish school. As it is a Friday, you guys have finished school, you may have had some AV club, and you're up there with at least one of your other friends who is not a player here, but there is another child there with you. Laurie McCarthy, the daughter of the pastor of the Colonial Church, slaps down her copy of EOE, Explorers of Elsewhere, 142, and points an accused finger like, there is no way in hell that Badger's flaming fist could ever pierce Balthazar's Aegis shield. I just don't see how they wouldn't fight anyway, but if they ever did. And as Laurie talks, she has this massive like shock of brown hair. It's like curly, messy, and it's just waggling around like violently as her bright blue eyes like just looking at me. She's like, there's just no way. Again, she just slaps the comic on the floor. Does anyone have anything an objection to say? No. Oh, I'm glad when I sort of like planned that one. Actually, there was meant to be 3 years, but we were down to like.
I've just got to do some contextual checking. Got to check some release dates. So if we're doing 83, yeah, first edition AD&D.
Oh my god!
Here we go. So, just like off to the side, there's this like rhythmic and insistent tapping, like a brr, 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 brr. And in a leather jacket that is far too big for him is a relatively kind of average looking young boy. He's 14 years old. He's got messy-ish brown hair, just kind of swept as best as it can be over to the side. There's a band logo on the back of the jacket. The band in question is one that this kid does not stop talking about, Van Halen.
Don't know.
Yeah, it's a relatively new band. But he stops kind kind of wrapping these 2 drumsticks on a wooden beam that he's practicing like paradiddles on. Badly, I might add, but still practicing regardless. And he turns around and... But... I mean, are you sure? Because the whole Thaco thing, I don't really know how that's supposed to work anyway. Like, because you're supposed to, like, go low, but then, like, that's good, but then... So, maybe it does? I don't know how it works with this new... It's too advanced for me.
So yeah, Laura looks around, and what's your character's name?
Finn.
Finn. She looks.
Finn looks genuinely sort of like puzzled and, but sincere. As he looks at Laurie.
Laurie looks at you and is like, yeah, but just. I mean, this is the comic book we're talking about. Like in game, yeah, sure. Like I'm sure like Badger's Thaco like would beat like Balthor's Thaco, but just in the comic book, he's meant to be invulnerable. But
that's like boring. That's like Superman boring.
Wayne is gonna kind of he's sort of like he's actually sitting on like this tatty old like couch that we somehow got up into the hayloft, and he just kind of goes, "Oh, you're both boring." And he's just twiddling away with his VCR camcorder that he has.
Do you mind explaining a little bit about Wayne? What does Wayne look like?
So Wayne, he's wearing sort of quite like sort of like quite hip clothes of the time, but it's definitely a little bit worse for wear. It's not been probably cleaned greatly. And he's probably, sort of done a lot of running and tripped over and sort of scuffed himself a bit in those clothing as well. He's got sort of like messy blonde hair, and he's got an air of himself where he thinks he's older than he actually is, and he's just like a little bit of a words that probably adults have called him that they probably shouldn't.
A little bit of a troublemaker, you might say. There's probably a bit of kinship with Laurie. She's a troublemaker too. But he looks to Wayne. It's like, you're no help. Like, Susie, help me out here. Come on, like...
Susie looks up from the book she's currently reading on AV-related topics because she's joined this AV club and is desperate to know all about it, just as she's desperate to know about everything in the world. And she just looks up and goes, "Sorry, I don't read comic books. What are you talking about?"
You see her sort of chuck her sort of like...
There's a badger fighting Balthazar. What? Tell me more.
He's a metal man. He's a metal man in a suit. Never mind. Describe to us Susie as she sits there reading her book.
Susie is 13 years old. She has thick, long brown hair, quite a chunky framed glasses, and she is very much a bookworm. Not a terribly popular kid. She tends to be in her own world most of the time, but has recently joined this club because she has decided it's probably about time to make friends, and you make friends by joining a club. So that's why she's joined recently.
Nice. As the Laurie sort of scatters the comic books, a small dog goes running up to them and starts trying to like snuffle them, try to bite them. The dog seems to just be sort of very, very keen on what's going on and really wants to chew this comic book. And you see Laurie panic. She's like, "Forrest, quickly!"
Butternut, no, leave it. Butternut, stop. Comics aren't for dogs.
The dogs,
even if they are kind of weird, they don't have robots or nothing in them.
Yeah, the dog like looks at you with his big lolling tongue. Describe to us Forrest.
Sure. Forrest is kind of like Butternut the dog going through the uglies at age 13. So like parts are a little bit like growing into themselves. So like they look reasonably awkward and kind of hunched a little bit. I guess, growth spurts and all of that. They have a couple of braids in their hair, but they look like they've been done several days ago, if not weeks ago. Possibly the last time that the hair was washed properly. And they have like these dark braids and these overalls with a series of kind of patches and kind of mended areas on them, kind of big as well, so that they can be grown into. And she has sort of like teeth that are a little bit too big for her mouth at the moment again. So she's got kind of like an awkward way of talking and a different accent to most of the other folks here in from the USA. And yeah, like rolled up bottoms of the overalls and very dirty, muddy boots.
I see it. Yep. Butternut sort of again looks at you, sort of like gives that a big lolling tongue, and then suddenly sort of darts to the other side of the room where it starts like trying to chew on this piece of technology. Obviously 80s technology, it's probably some sort of converted Game Boy or something, but it looks up at its inventor, who's maybe looking down at the dog, sort of a little unimpressed.
Stop it. No. Can't have that.
The dog really wants to get its teeth into Lane. Who is this inventor?
So this is Lucretia Danielle Victoria Priscilla Harrison,
aka
more commonly
Lucy.
known as Lucy. Not to her parents. Her parents call her full name.
Oh, you would, wouldn't
like
you?
Including the surname every time.
Let me write that one down.
Her first name's only Lucretia Danielle. You don't have to do
Lucretia.
5 names.
Yeah, Lucretia Danielle. Like her parents call you Lucretia Danielle.
She is the youngest here at 11, and she's wearing very clearly hand-me-down sort of 70s, very early 80s bohemian hippie wear.
A lot of
is
tie-dye.
very clearly not taken care of very well because she doesn't like it that much, but it's really the only clothes her parents will let her wear. And at the moment, she's like very gently but exasperatedly trying to push this dog away off of this unrecognizable gadget thing that no one in the treehouse Roofloft has been able to identify what it is yet.
Yeah, Butternut tries to get its jaws around it. When it quite realises it can't quite do it, it sort of runs back to Forest and sort of tucks in around you, or sort of, gets its face like proper sort of slobbery, sort of like. But Laurie at this point just looks round and sort of absolutely gassabated at the fact that just no one seems to agree with her, and sort of like stuffs her comics in the back into her backpack, and she's like, never mind. I'm sure they'll explain it in one of the later issues. Like, it's the Gith Yankee arc. It looks like it's going to be amazing. Nothing bad's going to happen. But as you're talking, obviously over the background sounds of like the mooing cows and everything, there is that deep roll of thunder. As all throughout the day it's been threatening. This storm has sort of been growing. Clouds have been gathering over the sort of the cooling towers, and as I said, there's been flecks of blue light, but they seem to have been really increasing today. It's almost like fireflies coming out of them, just rising up into the sky and joining with the clouds. And it's almost like the clouds have a little bit of a bluish hue, but anyone you've tried to talk to is just, it's just a storm. They happen all the time, and the town occasionally gets big ones. When they and then they go into some sort of thing about like purge events and stuff like that, and it gets a bit much for you kids. Like, the adults really just don't seem to care that much. But there's definitely something a little odd about the storm that's brewing at the moment. It seems strange, but at the moment it still seems far away. So as you sort of like, what sort of things do you do in the clubhouse? Like, is it mainly just sort of like reading, venting, comics, or is there other things you guys do? I guess a lot of AV stuff, being part of the AV club.
Mm-hmm. What are Wayne's new tapes? Wayne got any new tapes?
So glad you asked. So it depends on what you're really after. Like, obviously, I'm going to be going down, like, new James Bond films out. Like, Sean Connery's back in it, apparently. That's going to be pretty big, I think. I'm going to go and get that recorded this evening. But I do also have, obviously, they got Octopussy as well, which came out earlier this year. I do have a nice little version of Return of the Jedi, but if you're looking for something a little bit more, like, I know you're a bunch of kids, like, you probably can't, like, handle it, but I do have, like, Videodrome, I do have, like, Cujo as well.
That's the one about the dog, isn't it?
Yes, that's the one about the dog.
I
Yes.
like dogs.
I'm sure you do. But I've also got Flashdance as well, which is pretty... might be a little bit too much for you, but if you want it, can sell it for the right price.
I mean, the name Flashdance doesn't mean anything to Finn, but I'll kind of kneel down and one hand rummaging like Buttercup's face, like with one hand, but then holding the drumsticks as far away as I can from his mouth. And I'll just be like, you could be a Cujo, couldn't you? You could go and eat everyone, couldn't you? Yes.
You kind of see like Laurie sit there and it's like she puts her hands in and like proper like thumps, and she's like, I can't watch any of those stuff. My dad gets so like annoyed by them, and like, you know, he says they're ungodly, and you know, and you all know she's been grounded as well recently. So while she says she wants to come see it at your houses, you know she can't, because recently, instead of getting up and singing a hymn like she normally does, she got up on stage, stood there for a moment, took the microphone and went, I don't think I believe in God, in front of the entire congregation.
Whoa!
Which, obviously, her sister found hilarious, her mother and father didn't find as hilarious, and she has somewhat been grounded, which the fact that she's here kind of surprises a lot of you, because she's meant to be at home, yet she's not. So, but as she sort of like says this, there is suddenly a very deep, there's a flash and a sudden deep roll of thunder, and Forrest, you start hearing outside your Uncle Artie, your Grandpa Artie, my apologies, like, Forrest! Forrest!
Oh, it's Grandpa. Quickly, hide any, like, you know, things with the robot stuff. You don't like that stuff. Just, Lucy, make sure your thingamabob is, you know, tucked away and hidden in, you know, the place where we hide stuff.
Put it into one of my jacket pockets.
I imagine there's a big chest in the corner as well that just has a lock on it that you hide the key somewhere, put that in the lock, you know. There's like keys to like different locks, and you just like go through a system of like locks to get the key to the chest. But he's sort of saying outside, sort of shouting to the barn like, Forrest! Where are you, girl?
Butternut, go distract Grandpa for just a bit. Everyone, I'm just gonna go see what Grandpa wants. Probably something about this proper weird storm. Is this normal here? I haven't been here long, but
It's just occurred to me, if we're in a hay croft, like, presumably we climb a ladder to get to like a upper level, right? Have we had to construct a little doggy slide?
There's probably a way up, but I imagine Butternut is the kind of dog she like just leaps into like a hay thing. Assassin's Creed's its way off, like. But there's like a proper thing to get up. You've created like maybe even like a pulley system. It sits there in a little bucket and gets pulled up.
Oh.
But getting down, it always like Assassin's Creed like leap of faith its way off. And you hear like your grandpa like, oh my god, oh hello, aren't you? Oh yes, sir. As he starts fussing the dog's face. But he's sort of standing in the bottom of the hay loft, so at this point, just messing like Butternut's face as he waits for you.
I'll if there's like a sort of ledge where the ladder is, or like a sort of hole, I'll just kind of go on my stomach, you know, and kind of lean my front down, upside down, to see the pigtails kind of flop down, and I look upside down at my grandpa. What's wrong, Grandpa? We're just, hanging out doing homework and that from school. Definitely homework.
The fact you say definitely over it makes me a bit worried, but, I'm going to believe you.
I'm definitely doing homework.
I know you are, Susie. I wouldn't expect anything less of you. But the storm's getting pretty bad. Friends should probably start going home, because I don't want to get in trouble with their parents.
Why? Okay, Grandpa. Y'all are supposed to head home soon, I guess.
Okay, but I could stay up here, and then if a lightning bolt hits, I'll die, and that'll be better.
Bloody hell!
Oh my! You can kind of hear Artie like, oh boy.
Lucy, no, you'll become the ghost of the hayloft, and then it would be bad.
Yeah, I don't have to hire another exorcist. The first one was rather expensive.
If Lucy becomes a ghost, do you think Butternut will be able to see her?
Definitely.
Well, wouldn't she just float around? Maybe she'll float around like one of those big green booger ghosts from that film that came out recently.
That film comes out next year.
Oh boy!
I know, because there's two things that happen next year. Ghostbusters. Well, there's a lot of things happen in '94, and me. But no,
miss.
Ghostbusters 1984. Unfortunately, sorry. Oh no,
that sounds gnarly. I'm gonna put that down.
Yeah, we got to coin that. We got to get the rights to that idea.
Talk to your uncle.
The Exorcist would have come out though, right? I guess Finn would have maybe. I don't know.
Potentially.
The year before.
Okay, so The Exorcist, This thing was set in the 80s. Everything kind of blurs into one. It just kind of becomes just 80s rather than the different years.
I mean, when you say that this storm looks kind of worse than normal, noticeably.
Yeah, I mean, you live on the edge of Lake Superior, so you probably get some bad storms coming off the lake, which isn't really a lake; it's almost a sea in itself.
Yeah.
But this one seems like it's gathering, and it seems like it's been gathering, and that's the thing that's weird about it. Storms, you can see them coming, but this one seems to be building and sticking in place and building above the towers. Again, no one seems to find this odd, but it's just. It seems to be getting darker and darker, but just these blue highlights on the edge of it. And it's just... seems bizarre, but, they know... your Grandpa Artie knows it's going to be a bad storm, but he doesn't really understand why it's a bad storm. There's just a part of him that seems to just understand that.
I'll look to everyone around, and I haven't got to be home for a while, so I'm happy to walk with anyone, detour around to theirs before I head home.
Okay, so what's everyone going to do?
I think Wayne's gonna sort of just jump up and go well, I don't have to be anywhere, so I'll go wherever.
Okay.
Yeah, Susie's happy to go if the storm's looking that bad, and Artie's worried about us. So,
Lucy?
Yeah, I will reluctantly leave.
And for us, obviously, you're at home, so I guess it's just easy for you to jump down and go in. Laurie sort of starts putting things away, and she's like, I'm gonna hang about for a few minutes if that's okay. I'm gonna, I don't really want to sort of let my dad catch me yet. I'm gonna maybe wait a bit before going home and sneaking in if that's okay. She says, you alright to stay up here, Forrest?
That's fine. Grandpa, do we need to do any with the boarding up the windows or anything like that? Have you seen storms like this before, Grandpa?
He sort of looks out and it's it looks like a storm, but I wouldn't mind if I had to get some stuff done. If we can make it a bit more secure, that would be great. if you could help me, that'd be fantastic.
Okay, Grandpa.
Okay.
Okay, so I mean, you guys are walking. Are we doing the classic 80 things? Do you have bikes?
Bikes.
Almost
Yeah.
certainly sure.
This isn't
Yeah.
kids on bikes.
This is definitely a kids on bikes kind of thing.
Okay.
So we'll have this pop up on screen, but for my players, I will be sending you 2 maps. Number 1 is the normal map of the town. The second one I send you is the map that you probably have in your hideout. It's one that you have altered. Shows you all the sort of popular areas. The first map, which again we should hopefully have on screen now, is just the normal everyday map of Lunaville. This one is basically the one they give to tourists. And we'll leave that there for a second. And the second map that should now pop up is the kids map. It will show where they live and some of the places that they like to visit. That is not the kids map, but it
DM.
Yes.
I would love to know what everyone's bike looks like.
I would also love to know that information. What everyone's bikes look like.
Mine is a. It's like a bare metal, like suspensionless, kind of almost like BMX-y kind of bike. Like real simple. It's like a simple, efficient, no nonsense kind of deal. The rubber handles are quite worn.
Fair. Susie, what's your bike look like?
It's a green bike.
Basket on the front?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, Susie's a
For my
basket
books,
biker.
for my book bags. Yeah.
Wayne, what's your bike?
I like to think that Wayne's bike is relatively quite new. I'm thinking sort of like white with like sort of black stripes on it, some stickers that he's probably put on himself.
Nice.
Is that to conceal it from the person you nicked it from?
I'm going to ask you, Lucy. I kind of imagine yours is kind of a bit like heavily modded. Your Lucy's bike kind of looks more like a spaceship than a bike at this point.
Yes, but it's mostly made of like junk.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I know we're not going to get to see yours, but what's Forrest's bike like?
Pretty old-fashioned, probably a hand-me-down from Grandma. It's probably Grandma's old bike. But it has like an old like milk crate attached to like the back that's just big enough for Butternut to get into. And have the paws like hanging over the back. And it's probably got like one of the pinwheels on the front, so it kind of turns as it's being ridden. It's
Nice.
it's gonna have all manner of junk attached to it, like sunflowers, etc.
Nice. So as you sort of leave the farm, so the farm, I imagine it's a big, nice path that starts leading back onto like the main road. And this is obviously where you first sort of separate one person. So Lucy, you live in the trailer park, which is on the sort of northeast side of town, quite close to the cooling towers, like the industrial estate and sort of like the major scrapyard. But sort of like here you turn off, you'd go past this sort of big strip mall that they've built, sort of with the arcades, the bot shop, the video store, and the rest of you sort of like you carrying in towards town. Finn and Susie, you live up in the sort of the north west side of town, the sort of very sort of affluent area, which was basically built by Dart, the major company that pretty much owns this town. So you sort of carry up through the high street and everything, and Wayne, you sort of turn off on the high street to go down into the southwest of town, where you sort of live quite close to Laurie's family. Again, it's a very sort of like middle classy sort of area. Very sort of like, yeah, just basically middle class, like white picket fence, all that sort of style. And obviously far as you live in your sort of like farmhouse, sort of like wooden colonial sort of styles, a lot of like white chipped paint at this point, probably shutters that obviously constantly, nice sort of veranda off the front as well. But what we're going to do is, let's start with the furthest person who's travelled the furthest as they get home. Finn, seems like you travel the farthest. You enter the front door of your house.
Yes.
What's sort of the inside like?
So, the inside of this house, as I imagine it, is relatively... The house is relatively nice. But it's nice. It's just as nice as the majority of the other houses in the nearby area. I don't quite understand how it works, but like I think Dad got this house from work. Like it's kind of like it's a work thing. I don't know. And like I know that a lot of our neighbours also work up at Dart, like the same as Dad. So like, yeah, they've all got nice houses as well. But it's empty. It's just me in the house, and sort of like as I wander past like the kitchen, I noticed that a lot of the housework hasn't been done, mainly because like they're both out of the house a lot. So it's just kind of me, and yeah, like I look at the piles of kind of dirty plates and dishes, and I think for a moment, and I want to go upstairs and just kind of jump on the bed and listen to some music, but I start kind of doing some dishes, and I get about 3 plates washed before I just boredom overcomes me.
As you sort of like go, because I imagine you have like the front door opens, like stairs immediately up towards like the upstairs. As you sort of like climbing the stairs, you hear like the lock of the door go. The door opens and you see your sort of dad sort of blustering, sort of look at you and say, hey sport, how you doing? How you doing, man?
Oh, yeah, good. You're home early.
Yeah, it's a big thing about to happen at work. I drop some stuff. I'll pick up some papers. It's just something to do with the towers. If you want to watch it tonight, it might be. I'd recommend staying indoors. Like, stay indoors and watch it from your window. Like, that's probably the safest thing to do. Like, and you've known all your life. Your dad is like terrified of storms. Like, he's hated them from as long as you've known him, and this one must terrify the hell out of him.
Yeah, sure, Dad. I mean, I wasn't gonna watch the storm outside, so
that's good. It's good. Is
everything okay?
Yeah, we'll see in the morning. It's going to be a busy night. I'm probably going to be home late. Your mum should be, and he looks at his watch. Your mum should be finishing her shift soon, and that's probably for the best that I'll be out all night. Just to tell her not to wait up for me, okay, son?
I'll probably unwittingly, unsubtly roll my eyes when he says he's going to be late.
You sort of, yeah. He goes into the lounge. You can hear him opening his briefcase and shuffling papers. I won't make you roll yet, but you definitely can see that he's a little bit more agitated than he usually is. As he sort of he's shuffling papers. He's like he unlocks a cupboard that you're not allowed in. He's throwing a few folders into it. He snaps his briefcase shut, and you can just hear him from downstairs like, "Okay, I'm going now."
Yeah, just as I'm about to kind of snap on the metal rim, orange fluffy.
I know the ones you mean. Yeah.
I just somewhat half-heartedly do a okay bye, it's like a tired okay bye.
And you hear the door.
Yeah.
And then the start up of the car, and he sort of disappears sort of off down towards the Dart offices, which are smack bang in the centre of town.
Sure. And yeah, as I watch him drive, watch him out the window drive off, I've set up a pillow on my lap, and I've pulled the drumsticks out of the inside coat pocket, and I just start like, and start drumming along to Eddie Van Halen.
I imagine at one point, as you sort of like bow, bow, and as you hit the final drums on it, there's this almighty flash of light as lightning goes off.
Yes.
Julia, Susie is like closest. What is your home like?
I would say it's probably quite similar to Finn's, because similarly, Susie's house was provided by Dart. Her mother, Margaret, works for them, although she doesn't fully understand what her mum does for the company. And her dad, Bill, is a school teacher. So, you know, combined, they make a pretty good income, I suppose, but they don't live lavishly. The relatively kind of middle class type home, I would say.
Yeah, so as you sort of get in the door, you see your mum is sort of rushing about, but in a very sort of different way. She's just like, I can't believe they've called us in. Like, these purge events, they happen so rarely. We don't need everyone in. I don't know why they're doing it. And your father, Bill, is just sitting there reading a magazine, like, or a newspaper, like, yes, fascinating stuff. As he tends not to understand your mum's work, being sort of like a school teacher. He's very, you know, matter of fact, and she's always like throwing science at him and stuff that he's just sort of like,
Hello, I'm back.
Oh, Susie, darling, welcome home. And your mother gives you a kiss on the head, and she's like, you okay? Everything all right?
The sky is angry.
She looks, it's like, yes, it's very bizarre tonight, but hopefully it'll be over sooner. We had one of these big storms like 10 years ago. They were really fun to watch. If you want to watch it, like in the garden, it'll be really fun.
Yes.
Just don't be under a tree or anything, okay?
Okay, that would be very fun. What's this about going in?
Work. It's an important work event. Every so often, the facility has to do what's called a purge event, sweetie. So
what's that?
Where we build up all the energy to do the experiments. I believe they have to basically, it builds up, and if they don't let it go, it can be a problem. So
does the storm make it worse?
No, not at all. The storm has nothing to do with the event.
Can I see if I believe her?
If you want to, you can do
I'd love to.
Oh, what sort of one would be good here? I guess.
I can comprehend.
Yeah, comprehend. You want to try and understand her sort of...
Right.
Oh, so, no, actually investigate.
Investigate. Cool. Yes. So the way I do this, I'm gonna put in 5 for my mind.
Yep, that's correct.
And I'm going to put in 2 more for my investigate.
That is
1,
correct.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7d6.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm looking for 6s.
6s all the way, yes.
Yeah. Susie's a student of human psychology, even if she's not very good at it herself. So, roll it.
Oh, no.
I fail. I do not know.
So, what you
close.
What you can do here is... Yeah. If you want to, you can push the roll, which means you re-roll.
Okay.
To re-roll, you have to trigger one of the conditions. The conditions are upset, scared, exhausted, or injured. I think there's only one that really probably applies here if you want to do it. With each condition, you roll 1 less dice. If you
leave this time it's all right. I'm leaving it. Yeah. I was just curious.
Yeah, your mum seems like legit. Like, she doesn't seem to be leading you astray. She's just very much like, work's going to be busy.
Okay, well, be careful in the storm, Mum.
I'll have my car seat. It should be okay. And she goes over to your dad, gives him a kiss on the head, and she's like, are you going to be okay? So, yes, I mean, the librarian suddenly resigning today is going to be a bit much. It's thrown everyone out of whack slightly, but we'll manage. Don't worry about it. Have fun at work, and I'll see you when I get home. When you get home. She's like, it's going to be a late one. No worries. Like, I'll have dinner waiting for you.
We can watch the storm together, can't we, Father?
I would love that. And he sort of like has like a after school snack for you. You haven't been home since then, so he has sort of snack waiting on the table for you. Maybe he's had a couple of books that he sort of picked out for you to read, because you go through them so quickly, I imagine.
Nice.
But yeah, you sort of see on his paperwork and everything, he's got like, you know, he's helping out, sort of write out a new for the school librarian who didn't show up today. It's very bizarre. but according to him, she's also resigned.
Oh, that's curious.
Yeah, very, very sudden. If you ask him, he was like, it's all very sudden.
Okay. Yeah. I probably am curious because I love books, so I probably know the librarian at school fairly well.
Yes, she was. Let me go analog. Thing ready. Her name was Mona Thompson.
Okay, thank you.
And yeah, Mona just didn't show up today. The library was closed, and according to your dad, she also handed in her letter of resignation, which is weird because she was loving the job and loving the, like, everyone really loved Mona to talk to Mona. But yeah, Mona's just up and gone.
Very strange.
The next on our list is Wayne. You're the next closest, so as you sort of approach, what's your house like? Because your house isn't built by Dart. Yours is maybe one of the older sort. What's Wayne's house like?
A bit like how you said, it was sort of like white picket fence, very pristine lawn, but not a lot sort of out on the front of it, just cut. And you can see that there is like a droid that's sort of close by that does all of that for them. When you go inside, it looks a bit like a show home, so actually quite empty. Like it doesn't look like anyone really. If you walk into like the sort of hallway, it looks like no one really lives there. And again, there's sort of like another droid in there that's sort of just dusting and cleaning and picking up things. Wayne sort of just like kicks off his shoes, and like immediately when a droid comes along, picks him up and sort of moves him somewhere else. He just sort of like goes, oh, and just sort of groans at it. He sort of walks sort of like it's a fairly sort of largish house, and when he shouts it does echo, and he's just kind of going, Mark.
You kind of hear from upstairs like
right.
Suddenly music stops, and then you just hear the sort of as he comes downstairs and looks at you. It's like, Ellie Bryn.
What's it to you?
Like, I need to know where my little bro is. Like, I got work in about sort of like an hour. I just want to know you're okay.
I'm there now.
Well, can you at least, like, does your friend have a phone or something? Can you at least not call?
No, they're like poor.
Which one are we talking about? The one in the trailer or the one in the farm?
All of them. You know this.
he comes up and he gives you sort of a clap on the shoulder, and he's like, okay, so and he hands you some tickets. It's like, so this one's for tonight's showing. If you can make it tonight's show, we've never seen ever. If you can't use it tonight, use it tomorrow. Nice. I got you, and he hands you basically a couple of tickets for all different films for you to record. It's like, let me know when you're coming. I'll get you in the back so no one can see you with the VCR, and I'll even throw in some Skittles.
Nice.
Okay. And he sort of holds out his hand like, my cut?
Oh yeah. And he digs into his pocket and he pulls out like,
bro. And he's sort of like, have you heard from Mum and Dad today?
No.
Oh, me neither. I think they left something in the fridge. And you see one of the droids like, I have prepared a meal for you, masters. I can get it warm when you are ready. And it's sort of like, most of the droids have sort of what you can call a face, but there's no expression to them. It's usually just a line, these white glowing eyes, but they sort of move very sort of, but it walks past and tells you that it can prepare dinner for you.
Whatever. And I think Wayne's just going to then sort of head on upstairs, and in his room is like much more messier. He doesn't really like let the droids into his room, but it's like a relatively quite big room, but it's just filled with like clothes and mess and things. And he's got like a couple of VCRs, all sort of VHS players, just sort of around, just sort of doing like recordings. And he's got one that's stopping, and it's showing like the white fuzz on the TV, and he's stopping it, and he's just replacing them with other tapes. And starts like another recording, and he's got, let's see what he's got on there. He's got the Twilight Zone movie I think that came out that time.
So you hear your sort of brother at that point, Mark, call up as like, "Don't be an asshole when I'm out, okay?
Sure.
I can't promise I won't do the same." As you hear the door shut, and then you hear his car start up, and he really just like revs out of there as you hear the slow roll of thunder in the distance. Lucy, you live in the trailer park, so imagine it's like there's probably it's a rough area, so there's probably sort of like you hear shouting and argument time. But what's your trailer like?
Probably not the best. Even in the trailer park, little beaten up, worse for wear, not properly taken care of. Parents don't really like me having a bike, but they've kind of accepted it's like how the kids get around, so they've sort of very begrudgingly accepted it. They don't like it in sight. So I sort of put it around to the side, underneath a window, so it can't be seen, still underneath cover. Walk in and just I'm back. The storm looks pretty bad.
You see only your dad Kenneth is home at the moment. He's got like long hair. He's never left the 60s. As he's sort of there strumming guitar, it's like, whoa, Lucinda, like, when did you get home?
About 15 seconds ago.
Whoa, really? Seems like forever already. Like, he sort of looks over, it's like, your mum's down at the Irish pub again, and like, I'm about to go out, like, supposedly there's a band in town, and like, I'm gonna try and like get with them, because you know, like, if I could travel around, like, that'd be so wizard. Like, you know? And he's like looking at you, just like really like, huh?
Yeah, I think you've definitely got this one.
Oh shit! I was meant to make you dinner. Hang on. And he hands you his guitar, and he goes to the fridge, opens it up, and he takes out one of those like TV dinner things, and he goes to the microwave, puts it in. He's like, Lucinda, Lucinda, Danielle, like, how do I use the microwave again?
It's Dad. I just come over and do it for him.
Okay.
As usual.
Like, I think that needs like 3 minutes, and then you're good to go. Like, he looks over, he's like, I don't think I cleaned up any forks either. I could do that. Would you like me to clean you up a fork? Like, I could do that, dude. Like, totally.
Fine. Dad, it's fine. You go and do your band.
Okay. Oh, thanks, sweetie. I wouldn't wait out with your mom. Like, you know, she may come home, she may not. I don't know. Like, it depends if she finds, like, quote, someone better. Like, I don't know. Like, although, I think I still have her weed, so she may still come home. It's okay, sweetie. Like, at least you'll come home for that. Like, keep the weed, keep the mom.
Yeah, that's definitely the motto that I'm gonna live by, Dad.
Okay, well, I love you, sweetie, and, like, I don't know, like, don't wait up, and, like, stay being awesome, like, be cool, and, like, wish me luck, you know, like, next thing you know, like, I'll have a record, like, with my face on it, and then he's talking to us as he leaves, and, like, you hear his car, so I'm like, boom, 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 boom. Lucinda, Danielle! The car won't start!
Okay, hang on. You know, you tried hot wiring it yourself, but it didn't work, so hang on.
Yeah, I don't know where I put the keys, like...
They're here. I take them out of the microwave.
The microwave's been sparking this whole time. So he drives off, and you're left with, like... I imagine it's a one-bed place. Like, they probably sleep on the sofa or wherever you find them. So, like, you probably have the bedroom all to yourself. And I imagine it's, like, a tech paradise.
To an extent, most of it broken and or salvaged, she prefers to say.
And finally, Forrest, what is the your house like? The farmhouse of the I keep forgetting its name. Sorry, the Cobble Dairy Farm.
Hobble Farm, yeah. Like you said, I think it's fairly run down now. It's showing signs of not doing very well financially. So, you know, a lot of things that could have been repaired are going either unrepaired or kind of repaired by Grandpa Artie. So lots of chipping paint, but it has a very sweet little porch that I personally romanticize from the US of A, with a swing chair. There's probably a pipe and a book next to that, which is Grandpa Artie's pipe and book.
I was about to say, a bit young for a pipe, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I'm from the West Country, never too young for cider and a pipe. But yeah, I think it's a fairly modest house. There's definitely an outhouse as opposed to like a bathroom. So it's kind of that situation. And I think Forrest's room is kind of part how it was set up, very kind of farm, you know, visuals, like curtains that have corn illustrated on them.
I know the ones.
Yeah. And like lots of like knitted quilt situations on the bed, but then a number of things that they've brought from home in the UK, just like a couple of kind of flyers and posters of like UK bands maybe, or like a little like Bristol map, or like some sort of old Bristol things, or West Country things. Yeah, and I think there's definitely like a loose floorboard in Forrest's room, where Forrest kind of puts the stuff that they want to hide from Grandpa Artie.
Fair. As you're sort of helping him put stuff together, you can see him sort of like stop for a second to catch his breath, like, whew, whew. So he then starts continuing to hammering to hold things in place. And he's like, just looking around, you can see he's realizing the magnet to get it all ready. He's like, oh, you think you can go much longer?
Sorry, what was that, Grandpa Artie?
I
What
said-
did you say? It's the hammer. It's really loud.
I'm sorry. I said, how much longer do you think you can go on for? You're getting a bit tired. Like, you know, if you know, it's not as young as I used to be.
Oh, it's okay, Grandpa. You can you take a rest and have your pipe, and I'll finish up here. It's okay.
I think I'll do that. And as he sort of looks away, he can see like finally Laurie leaving, grabbing hold of a red bike, and she sort of looks over and gives him a nod and pedals away. And he looks back and he's like, Forrest, you keep hanging out with that like that kid with the videotapes and that girl who like, you know what she said in church?
What'd she say in church, Grandpa?
Well, she was like, you know, she didn't believe in God. She said it to all of us. Like, those are not
Strange.
they're not good people for you, Forrest. They'll lead you down a stray path, they will.
Well, they're very good at the school, and I'm not very good at the school at the moment, Grandpa. It's, you know, I've had to catch up after moving here, so they do help me a lot, and it is, as much as I love spending time with you, and you know, fixing stuff in the farm. Bang 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 bang. Wonky. It doesn't. It kind of falls a little bit. And Butternut's a great, you know, company, but sometimes, you know, it's nice to be around kids my age. Maybe she'll come round, Grandpa.
You've always been a good judge of character, so I can't like speak ill of your friends, but you know, just make sure they're not, you know, leading you down a path that you can't come back from, right?
I won't, Grandpa.
You know I trust you. You know I do.
Yeah, I'd never do anything to make you upset, ever.
Oi. Oh, I'm gonna go with that pipe now. You, if it starts raining, you get into the shelter. I don't want you having a cold, right?
Okay.
You're right,
okay.
right, rotten. and you see him sort of like again like creaking his bones as he sort of like slowly walks over to the porch. At that point, the slight roll of thunder is starting to creep over, and you're sort of noticing that at this point, the amount of like fireflies coming out of the 3 cooling towers has intensified quite significantly. And there's this sort of feeling in the air. Lucy, you're the closest to the towers, because like the towers are pretty much in the shadow of them, and you kind of feel this sort of almost like, it's not that the air is being sucked out of like everywhere, that it's disappearing, but it feels like everything is being pulled towards the towers for a second. Just like air is being pulled out your lungs and being pulled towards the towers. And when it comes to storm, so Susie, you're watching it with your dad and assuming he's sort of like under a sort of small porch bit, you're sort of watching across the tower, seeing these like blue flicks coming out. Like Forrest, you're outside, so you've got this clear view of it. Finn, you're drumming at the window, aren't you? So you can probably see it from where you are, but you're not that focused on it. Lucy, are you paying attention to it, or are you sort of like head down in your sort of work? Lane?
I'm probably just head down and work, trying to forget where I live for a little bit.
Fair. And Wayne, are you sort of paying attention to the storm? Are you sort of like, again, just sort of like doing videos and?
I think sort of Wayne is paying attention to the fact that there is sort of like, but he's not much attention. He's just kind of hoping that it's not going to whack down with rain before he has to leave the house again.
Fair. So Susie, as you sort of probably have Susie and Forrest, you kind of have the best view. It's almost like sound stops for a second. It's almost like everything goes, and there's this odd moment of calm where there's just like no sound, and then suddenly from all 3 towers there's just sort of like this thump, as instead of fireflies, beams of blue light shoot up into the sky, up into the clouds, which then sort of grow in bright blue intensity and start rolling, and the sound of thunder grows. As suddenly the clouds almost like part outwards and start pushing across the town as this roll of thunder, the crackling, and see the lightning inside it as it pushes out and engulfs the entire town. And for you, Susie and Forrest, you look up, and as it parts through these beams, it's like you're not looking at a night sky of stars, but you are looking at another city up in the sky looking down at you. But it is no architecture that you have ever seen before in your life. And you swear you see creatures and things roving around it. And as you're suddenly looking up, you sort of look to your dad as sort of like, what the and your dad seems to be sort of almost like oblivious to it. Like he's watching the storm, sort of like, oh, why? But you and Forrest, you're both looking up and seeing this sort of other place up in the sky, and you can see the little sort of signs of people looking up at you as well. Finn, as you're sort of tapping away, and as you clap at one point, there's that flash of lightning. And as you look up and look out your window, you don't see Lunaville as much as you see a jungle. And rising up in front of your window, in a film that probably comes out in the 90s, but you see the head of a T-Rex rise up and sort of stomp off, and you're sort of dum 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 dum. Wayne, you're like, you've got stuff rolling across the screens, you're sort of watching films and stuff, and you've got like a film of 2 people talking, and then for a second you feel this sort of like wave of everything. As you look at the screen, it's not people on the screen, but 2 robots acting out the entire exact same scene. And as you look across at all your TVs, they're playing different films, but instead of people, they're very well made robots with very sort of expressive faces. And just everything seems a bit not quite right. Lucy, you're sort of like head down, and again you see this the rumbling, you hear the, and as you look up out the window, you kind of see like just bright neon lights, and as you part your curtain, you don't see like the towers or Lunaville anymore. You see skyscrapers with sort of like neon lights and cars flying like about. And as you sort of look out another window, it's like this city, like skyscrapers as far as the eye can see. For one of you is also out on the street, Gloria McCall. As she's sort of pedaling home, as at that point she's looking up again at this sort of city growing. And at that point, rain starts pattering down on her, and she's sort of like shielding herself from it. And as she looks over, she sees like a car coming. Like sort of the person's evidently in the car recognizes it, blinks their lights, and she goes to wave to them. And as she raises up her hand, there is suddenly a mighty clap of thunder that just flashes. The person in the car sort of like shakes his head, his car swerves. As he sort of opens his eyes, all that's left is Laurie's bike as it onto the floor. As person at that point opens their door like, Laurie? And there's no reply as suddenly the rain starts hammering down. You have that sound as the rain hits, and he's like, Laurie! And he starts walking towards the bike, looking around like, Laurie McCarthy! As there's an almighty crash behind him, and his car moves sideways, landing on its side, down a ditch, and he sort of panics, turns around, and looks at his car, just rolls down the hill and stops. And as he stands there like, what the hell? He starts seeing something rise itself up from the car after landing in it. This deep growling black shape lifts up, and it opens piercing yellow eyes to look at him as a clap of lightning silhouettes this giant creature that just slammed into the side of his car. This person, oh my god, and runs down the street as this creature lifts its head into the air and goes, oh!
Oh no.
As you're all watching these different sights, everything suddenly back, and the beams of light just burst into fireflies of blue lights. And suddenly, Finn, you're looking back into like Lunaville. Lucy, you're looking at Lunaville as it's Wayne, all your TVs are playing normal stuff. There's people again on the screen. Forrest and Susie, you both look as this other place just vanishes. And at that point, the rains come down. And then the storm is normal.
Straight-faced, I will blink a few times. I'll move the pillow back onto the bed, leave the drumsticks on it, and I'll like calmly walk down into sort of like the entry hall and pick up the one telephone receiver, and then dial the person who I think would know what's just happened, and call Susie. Because I know that Susie's got a phone, because like we've been living similar.
I mean, Susie, you're still laying there with your dad, and your dad just seems completely oblivious to any of this just happening. He's like, at that point, he's sort of sheltering you from the rain, sort of like ducking and laughing, like, oh my goodness, isn't that? That was a big clap. Did you count that one? Did you count how close that was, Susie?
I think I missed it. What was that?
Thunder and lightning, Susie.
In the sky. The people, the city. Didn't you see? It was huge. It was the whole sky. How didn't you see that?
You can see your dad like, what? And he tests your forehead like, are you okay? He looks at the sky, looks at you like,
You didn't see?
I saw thunder and lightning. Are you? He's looking at the sky, looking at you, and you can see this genuine sadness again touches your forehead like, no.
Oh.
And at that point, you hear that. Ring, 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 ring.
It must have been my imagination. I'll get it. And she gets up and runs through the rain back to the house.
You can see him like, what? But yeah, the phone is ringing.
Mm-hmm. I run
Proper
in.
Old landlines, long cord.
Yeah, absolutely. I go and pick it up, and I say, "Fwatch residence."
Hey, Susie, it's Finn.
Oh, hey, Finn.
Hey.
This is the first time you've ever called me. This is a special moment for us.
Yeah. How are you doing?
A bit freaked out.
Did you see a T-Rex?
What?
A
No.
dinosaur.
Did
Is there
you
a
see a big?
dinosaur? Can you see a dinosaur?
Did you see a big city in the sky?
No, I saw a dinosaur.
Oh. Okay. That's strange, isn't it?
But you... What do you mean a city? Dinosaurs don't live in city. Dinosaurs don't live, Susie. What? Why? What?
I mean, not anymore.
No, what? What
face?
What's happening?
Right. So you saw a dinosaur, and I saw a big city in the sky. I think we need more data.
Do you think Wayne put something in our pot?
I don't know. I'll call him, and I put the phone down, and I call Wayne.
So Wayne, you also look at your TV screens, I imagine, very much as you hear from downstairs, like.
Yeah, Wayne sort of goes like, he's sort of paying attention. He's realizing that like the phone he's kind of waiting for it to stop because he just thinks it's going to be something else. But when he realizes that like Susie's probably just like, I will wait a bit longer.
I will wait as long as it takes.
So Wayne's going to be just like, and sort of go downstairs. And actually, I think that one of the droids might actually pick it up.
Ooh.
So I don't know if Karl, if you want to play the droid picking up the phone.
Okay. Marshall residence. How can I help?
Hello, it's Susie Fwatch. Is Wayne there, please?
I will see if Master Marshall is available. One moment, please.
Thank you.
Master Wayne.
And from hearing that, then he's probably thinking like, oh, it might be my brother, and so he's gonna sort of run downstairs. Sort of like the videos doing their thing.
One Susie Thwatch on the phone for you. Would you like to take this call?
He's gonna look really confused and just kind of go like, hello?
Hi, Wayne. It's Susie. You know, from the AV Club. We
Yeah.
saw each other a couple of hours ago.
Yeah, I know.
This is the first time I'm ever calling you on your phone. A special moment for us.
Yeah. What do you want?
Can I ask you a question, please, Wayne?
Sure, yeah.
Excellent. This social interaction is going really well so far.
Did she say that out loud?
I'm glad you're having this moment. Like,
Wayne, it's very important. Did you see a dinosaur and/or a large city in the sky when that big clap of thunder went off?
he puts the phone down.
I put the phone down and I ring him again.
The Marshall residence. How may I help you?
He's literally standing right next to it still. Andrew just picks it up straight away. And he just goes, give me that.
Hey, we got cut off there. That's weird. It must be the storm.
Dinosaurs.
Mhm.
And cities in the sky?
Mhm. Did you see?
No.
Oh, okay.
What sort of smoke happens over there in that area? What?
Sorry, I don't understand the question. So, Finn saw a dinosaur. I think he said a T-Rex, one of those big ones. And I saw a big city in the sky. It was when the lightning went off really loud. My father didn't see anything, so we need more data. Did you see anything strange?
No. Like when the clap happened, like something weird happened to my TVs. Like I don't know, just something with that. But that happens, like So
It does. Okay, so normal thing happened on the TV.
I just don't think you'd really like you wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get it. So
Ooh, try me.
I'll look out for dinosaurs, and I'll look out for big cities in the sky. And I'll see you tomorrow, Susie, alright?
Okay, nice to talk to you, Wayne. Thank you, and I'm glad everything's normal for you. Damn storm. And she puts the phone down. I think what she's probably going to do, she'll call Finn back, let him know that Wayne is like Rain says nothing happened, but apparently his screens did something strange, but he wouldn't tell me anything more.
Okay.
But that's Wayne, you know? He's a bit of a troublemaker.
Right, but we should probably find out from Lucy and Forrest if they found anything. So, if I cycle to one, you cycle to the other, because I don't think they've got phones.
Oh, okay. Who should I cycle to?
I'm very quickly figuring out who lives where. That's a long way. Oh no. Oh, you're both so far away. Oh no.
The pores live so far away.
Okay, I'll go to the farm because it's a bit further away.
So I'll go to the trailer park.
Yeah.
I'll have to think up a convincing story for my father.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. The trailer park. Well, I don't know. Tell him that Lucy's got another EOE, like Explorers of Elsewhere comic that you need to pick up or something. Like the new one's just come out, or I don't know.
That doesn't sound very convincing. I don't read comic books. I'll think of something, but I guess we'll compare notes tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
So Susie, what do you do? So we'll go to Lucy first. Go ahead, okay.
Yeah. I guess Susie's gonna do her best to kind of find an excuse to leave the house. I don't know what that would be in the middle of a storm in the evening.
I think what this might have to be is a charm roll.
Okay.
So you have the second roll of the game as well.
Wait, so charm? Oh no, that's a bad thing because I've only got 3 hearts and no charm. Let's see if I do any better on 3d6. So no, I don't.
No, you try to ask your dad to take you to the trailer park on this sort of rough side of town, like in the industrial estate near the scrapyard, near like the. It's like, I think it can wait till morning, sweetie.
You're absolutely right. In that case, could I just go see my friend who's 2 doors down and I'll be back soon?
We're actually neighbours.
You're not too far away from each other, but yeah, he's like, that's Finn, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, like, yes.
My good friend Finn, who I've spoken to twice on the phone now.
I've noticed. I just want to bring up the whole sky thing. Are you feeling okay, sweetie?
Absolutely fine. No. Just childish fancy. I'm going to just go 2 doors down, and I'll be back soon.
Okay.
I'm going to cycle because I like it.
Okay. Be back. Before your curfew.
Will do. Thanks, Father. And she gives him a little peck on the cheek, and she looks out of the house.
You can kind of just see him like. Okay.
Right. But yeah, basically, I'm not cycling to Finn's. I'm cycling to the trailer park.
So Lucy, you eventually hear, like Susie, you go across town through basically to the wrong side of the tracks, like through the industrial estate where there isn't a lot of light. Got my cagoule on because of the rain. Yeah, the rain is sort of hammering it down. You can kind of see like the cooling towers. Like they have sort of normal sort of red sort of like lights for things, but there's no more sort of fireflies coming out. They were like one sort of like jets out ever so often, but they've gone back to like complete normal. As you sort of enter the trailer park, you're getting a lot of odd looks from other people under their sort of awnings and stuff. As you
Hello!
go
Do you know where Lucretia lives?
Yeah, down that way.
Thank
Down
you.
that way, take a left.
That's very
Past the
kind.
burnt out one. Like, don't worry about that. But yeah, she's like 3 more down than the burnt out one. Don't knock on the 4th one because he's a drug dealer and he'd definitely try and sell you something.
My goodness me! Thank you for your help. And she
No worries.
cycles down to Lucy's trailer and knocks on the door.
The guy looks at his wife like, nice kid. Yeah, well behaved.
Knock.
Yeah, Lucy, you hear you can probably hear her coming, and then you hear like the rap against your door.
Open the door. Hello?
Hi, Lucy. It's Susie Fratch. From AV Club.
Yes.
Please tell me you've got like a big like headlamp on, so the door just like.
Goggles.
Yeah, goggles, headlamp. Probably a breathing apparatus. Like,
Love that.
You can come in if you want. It's still,
there's a drip somewhere. That bit.
Yep.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry to come unannounced. Because apparently that's the thing you're meant to say when you turn up unannounced. Could I just need to ask you a question, if that's okay?
Okay.
Did you see anything strange when the big lightning went off? Because Finn saw a dinosaur and I saw a city in the sky, and Wayne's monitors did something strange.
I don't know when exactly it was, but it was yesterday, and I saw like cities, like really big cities, and like flying cars outside my window. But I thought it was just my mum's cigarettes or pills that maybe somehow got into the food that I had.
Oh, well, interesting.
She has done that before.
I don't know if it's the food though, Lucy, because we saw things too. Very interesting.
Oh.
Wayne is on his way to the farm right now to ask Forrest. Up to.
Okay. So
Yeah, Finn, you're pedaling through the things, and as you sort of come up to the farm, you hear like Grandpa Artie like, "What the hell are you doing here, lad? Get into the inn. What the hell? Catch you deaf a cold."
Sure.
I lost my Cornish then.
I can imagine I'm probably feeling quite warm because it's a really long pedal, and also I've got like a yellow waterproof coat on, and then the leather jacket over that. Hi, Grandparty.
That's sorry. Words. Let me start again. That's Mr. Cobble to you, there, boy.
Oh, of course, Mr. Cobble.
For this late hour.
Sure. I was just. I think I was just wondering if Forrest was around. I think I left something here.
Let me go see if she's available.
Oh, thank
you. You see you sort of go inside, and instead of offering you inside, it looks at you, trying to follow him. It's like, you wait here a minute. It's for this late hour.
Yeah.
Forrest!
Terrible weather we're having. Yeah.
Quite.
What is it, Grandpa? I'm doing homework. I'm studying.
The fact that you're saying
hard.
definitely makes me worried, but I trust you. Your friend Finn's back here, even though I told him to go home.
Oh. Hello, Finn. What's up?
Hey.
You see Artie standing there still.
Oh, he's watching. Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I was just wondering if I left my drumsticks here.
Oh, you in the loft?
Yeah. But do you, Mr. Cobble? Do you mind if we quickly rummage through the haycroft?
Make it quick.
Sure.
Dinner's almost ready for us. Don't take too long.
Sure.
Oh, is it potatoes?
Oh, it's potatoes.
Is it? Oh, I love it. I love a shepherd's pie. I love it so much. Oh, thanks, Grandpa. Okay, we'll be right back.
But you better definitely be doing your homework.
Yeah.
Because you keep saying you definitely are, and it's making me worried.
Definitely. Butternut was helping me with my homework because Butternut's better at counting than I am. We take Butternut with us. GM, is it possible? I don't know if this is cheeky to say, but I was hammering hammer and nails earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Would I have been able to put said hammer and nails into my pocket to have them in my inventory for a later date?
I would say yes if you that's what you wish to do it. You have a hammer and nails, which +1 if you can use it.
Cool. Thanks. Hammer.
So as you two run across the yard into like the barn, Finn, what do you say?
Okay, so I haven't actually left my drumsticks here. That was a lie.
Oh, you hadn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
But so you're from like the UK, right?
I am.
And the UK is like really old.
It's. I guess it's
So,
about.
like-
It's.
Do you have like experience with dinosaurs?
I
Logic
saw
track.
like. I saw like some really big dogs one time, but like no, I've seen some bones in the woods, and they might have been dinosaurs.
Do you think?
Like,
Do you think that it's possible that like dinosaurs have been imported here from? I don't know. You've got zoos, right?
I don't know what you're talking about, Finn. It's a bit strange. It's a bit like what I saw when I was doing the hammering and the nailing, and I saw like a
You
weird.
saw some dinosaurs.
No, I saw some big buildings and some, I think, creatures in the amongst the buildings, but it was, up down
it
the
like
wrong way.
Like a city in the sky.
I suppose.
That well, so Susie saw a city in the sky, and I mean, I'm getting a bit worried because I think I'm the only one who saw dinosaurs.
I mean, they could have been dinosaurs in the city. I mean, I
City
didn't look too
dinosaurs.
hard. They could be where did they have briefcases and like.
What, like New York?
I don't know. What's New York? I've been to York on the train once. Got a chocolate museum there.
This is York, only newer.
So you saw like an upside down sky city, and Susie saw a city in the sky, and I saw dinosaurs, and Susie's checking with Lucy to see if Lucy saw anything weird, and I think Wayne saw. Lucy said that Wayne saw some weird things on like his TV screens.
Wayne sometimes he sees weird things on them screens quite a lot though. He looks at some naughty stuff on them screens sometimes. Wayne does. It makes me feel a bit, embarrassed sometimes.
I'm laughing, but Finn's just a bit like exasperated. Okay, well,
I definitely saw something weird. It weren't normal.
have you?
And butternut saw it all.
Butternut sits there like.
Okay, so well, I only came over to check. I mean, because we're gonna have to work on this really quickly. Yeah, this is the quickest way we have of communicating with each other over vast distances, it would seem. But do we know if Laurie's got a phone? Maybe Laurie saw something weird.
Oh, Laurie lives with the pastor.
Yeah, her family are basically the pastor and.
So they would have money.
Oh, they have money.
Like
They have money.
in America,
Do they find
right?
telephones sinful?
No, they'll have telephones. They'll have telephones.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe we should.
A
give
Christian,
her a
not
call.
Amish.
Okay, I'll have to. I guess. I've just cycled so far. Okay, I'll cycle back and then we can call Laurie to see if Laurie found out anything.
Oh, okay. I don't think Grandpa will let me go while he's still awake, but he does go. He's quite old, and he does go to bed right early. So maybe if you're tired, I can go see if Laurie's at her house. Actually, maybe Grandpa would let me, because, maybe I could ask Grandpa if I could go help Laurie, because, they were saying stuff about God and all that. I might be able to convince Grandpa. But I got Butternut with me, so I'm not scared. We could go together? We shouldn't be out by ourselves. We're young kids.
I mean, what day is it? What is the day?
It's Friday.
It's a Friday.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we're probably not going to see her until like Monday at school.
Or Sunday when they have the church stuff.
But she's probably not going to come to church after her little, thing.
They might make her go to church even more. So where do you leave your sticks then?
I'll blink and just kind of hold open the jacket, like the leather jacket pocket over the raincoat. And just,
you found them?
Yeah. Okay. So right. Okay. I'm gonna. I'm sure Laurie's gonna be fine. I guess if we. Because this storm's really horrible to cycle through. So if I cycle home, and then I'll call Susie, and then Susie can call Wayne, and then one of us can get in touch with Lucy, and we'll figure something out.
Okay.
Maybe in the morning we should all meet at the AV club.
That sounds like a good idea. Yeah. Maybe if. How about this? How about you take Bertinette with you, and then when you find out more information, you write on a note, and Bertinette put in mouth, and he can run back, and then I can find out what happens.
I'll look down at the dog. What face has the dog got on right now?
Big grin, I imagine. Like,
Maybe
kind of does that like chop slapping out.
Maybe we should just wait for the morning, actually.
All right.
Just in case the dog catchers are out tonight.
Oh, dog catchers? Okay, yeah, no, don't want Bertinette getting catched.
Okay. Well, I'll let. If you could, let's. I suppose you haven't got a phone, have you? Have you got a phone?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, my mum and pa, they call me once every
I cycled all
6
this way
months.
but you've got a phone.
We don't use it very much. It's I think it's got to be wound up.
Right. Okay. Do you know your telephone? Actually, never mind. We'll meet up at the AV club tomorrow morning. Okay.
Okay, because Grandpa Artie takes orders for the milk on the phone sometimes. So you just look in the phone book. You have a phone book, and the Cobble Dairy Farm.
That's a surprisingly good idea.
Because otherwise they will be coming out here all the time, and they don't want to do with that.
I am unexpectedly surprised by that sage wisdom. Thank you, Forrest.
Oh, it's all right. I'm glad you found your 6.
Yeah, thanks. Well, you stay safe, and if you see any more cities, or more importantly, dinosaurs, you note down and tell us in the morning.
I'll keep my eye out for some dinosaurs. After Grandpa Artie's gone to sleep, I'll do a little perimeter just in case they're after the cows.
Sure. Sure. Okay, I will. I'll turn around, sort of like.
Forrest scoops some mud and kind of. Just straight up in the front of Ben.
There'll be a genteel, like a sincere smile, and I'll turn around. I'll like screw my face up and be like, "I'm such a twit," and then like huff as you begin Ramboing yourself, and I'll just start cycling all the way across town again, because that's a
probably doesn't take that long.
It probably doesn't about that. But as you leave, Forrest, you sort of mudding, just distant in the sort of like bushes, just a pair of yellow eyes to just watch they slowly like sink and vanish. But Finn, as you cycle home, you get to a point that you start seeing sort of blue flashing lights in this. It would be blue and red, wouldn't it? Because it's America, so blue and red flashing lights in the distance, and you can see that one of the streets has been. It's a street with like not many houses on the side, big banks cornered off, and you can see there's a police car across it, like they've got a barrier. And as you sort of cycle past, you see a car has been like turned on its side, but standing at the barrier, there's this woman sort of like long sort of brown dreadlocks, wearing sort of like what you describe as more like 70s clothes. Give me a. We don't really have notice in this, do we? So, an investigate check.
That is a 4 dice roll. Bad jam! 6!
There we go.
As you're cycling past, like clearly the rain is falling, but it's almost like the rain is falling, but not quite touching her. It almost seems like with your minute sense, almost like the rain is like falling and then just deviating away from her slightly. You're not really sure that's what you're seeing. It's almost like she's dry, but not quite. And you're not really sure what you're seeing. But this woman standing there, watching the scene unfold, and eventually she sort of sees you, and she kind of like panics a little as she sort of sees you, and you recognise this is Naomi Hargreaves, otherwise known as like the Witch of the Woods. Like name has been given, but she kind of sort of like hunches up, sort of like tries to sort of not pay attention. But as you sort of, it's raining, so you kind of cycle on. You take a note of that, and as you cycle away, I think we'll take a 10-minute break. See you in a bit.